This podcast is meant for mature audiences only and contains strong sexual language. Welcome to Sex, Love, and the Black Experience with your hosts, Miss Kiki Love and Miss Nisha B of Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses. We're just two dope sisters who love to talk about sex and give our amazing guests a platform to share their experiences and expertise as it pertains to sex, love, and the Black experience. So let's get started. All right, so welcome to another episode of Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast with that wonderful duo, the Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses. I'm one half of that duo. I am Miss Nisha B, and then I'm going to bring you in to my other business partner, Miss Kiki Love. Yes. What's going on there?
And we got a special guest in the building.
Yes.
You may have remembered this beautiful Black man.
Yes.
A little thing that we did. The melanated he just kicked with some really cool shit.
Yeah.
And taught us some knowledge about sex and cannabis.
But cannabis in general.
Right.
And see, this is the thing that I want to say too before I introduce, is that people, and we always reiterate it, this is the reason why we love doing this podcast, because it's a lot of dope people here in Arizona and people don't know it. And so we get a chance to spotlight some dope people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really, talk about, all the things that are going on, how knowledgeable people are, and how people from anywhere can utilize the services of our wonderful people of color here in Arizona. So we're going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Come on,
Peace. My name is Brother Asr. I've actually been a cannabis educator in Phoenix for the last, it's been 2 more years, 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been a long time.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Okay. All right.
Technically, I grew up in Carson, which is a suburb of Compton, so I was neighbors to all of the famous rappers. It was great.
Awesome. Did you hang out with them? And
no, I was too young to hang out with most of them, and I was in the in-between group, right? So when Snoop and Dre and all them were coming up, they were the OGs, so they were my father's age, right? And then so by the time I got to a grown person and I'm running the streets, Kendrick and all of them are my little homies, you know what I mean? They
so you were in between.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but when I was in LA and we were doing music, everybody who's in LA, when you're in LA, you're trying to be a rapper, actor, singer, something.
Right.
We were doing you would see people like Kendrick and the people coming up at poetry lounges, so you could see the culture changing, going from the gangster rap into more of a lifestyle, hood lifestyle music.
Right.
And so that was probably the most awesome part of growing up in Los Angeles for me.
Awesome. So what's it like? So coming here to Arizona, and can you tell me was there a culture shock for you? Was it change? What was it like coming here?
Well, you said it right.
Being Cali, right? Because I'm from Cali myself. I'm from Bay.
I say,
right. So yeah, culture shock is not even the word I want to describe. Living in Phoenix,
right?
Coming from that, because California, period, is culture everywhere.
Diverse, to say the least.
Very diverse, right?
Arizona is not.
No, California is probably one of, if not one of the most diverse places in the country besides New York. So huge melting pot. So yes, coming from that, I can already tell from the look on this man's face. You're like, what?
Right, yeah.
Right.
When I first got out here, it was probably 15 years ago. So the population, as far as people of color, was even more scarce. You had, now don't get me wrong, you had a lot of Latinx individuals out here. They already had the foothold.
Right.
When it came to black people,
right,
we were not here. And the ones that were here were and again, everybody has a political affiliation. I'm not hating, but I'm just saying most of them were like red staters, so they were like, these are my Caucasians, stay away from my Caucasians type thing. And it was like, now I was trying to talk to you. Like, I used to run across the street and wave at black people, and they would run away from me. They know what's going on.
I realized that when I had moved here, is that you could tell who were the people of color who were from here.
Right.
The black people who were from here versus people who had moved here, because it's like when you waved at them or said hi, they looked at you strange, like, why are you even talking to me? And it's like, because you know, it's not many of us.
Right.
And see, I went to Michigan, University of Michigan, and so coming from Detroit, so when you talk about Belgian pie, Detroit, everybody looked like me. I never had, like, if you saw somebody white in the neighborhood, you thought they was cutting off somebody's electricity. They didn't live there. That's how it was. It was like 90-some% black, right?
Yeah.
So when we went to Michigan, we were like the minority on the Michigan campus, right? And it was a lot of black people that could not cut it. Like, it was difficult for them to adjust from being the majority, right? That's part of the reason why I moved west, is I wanted my kids to be more, I wanted them to be immersed in a lot of different communities, right?
Sure.
And there's some good things and bad things about that. We could talk about that. That's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
But when we walked on campus, we always, hey, because you be happy to see black people. So that's a habit. So when I came here, that's what I did. It was like, hey, and they were like,
yeah.
It was like, it's you must be from here.
Right. When people, like, especially the black folks that are from Arizona, like right off rip, you're from Arizona, because they don't speak to you right away. They have to like really like, okay, who is this person? Right.
Okay.
Let me get to know you first before I can. What's up, Mom?
But there are let me just tell you something. There are some cool Arizonas.
There are, but it's
some really cool
and far between. You know that, like, you can tell.
Yeah,
like you can tell, right? Oh, you're not from here, but like, and it's very apparent.
But I wonder. I'm gonna tell you this. I wonder too. Could it be too? Because like, of so many people are coming into their city, and they might feel like y'all taking over, you know what I'm saying? I wonder if there's a little resentment in that, because some people don't feel that way.
It could be. Look, this is my experience, like, especially over the last maybe like 4 or 5 years, we've had such an influx of people from all over the place. We got people coming from Detroit, all the snow cities, Chicago, and, you know what I mean?
Chicago.
They come in, a lot of people from New York, right? So that it's becoming more of a melting pot for us. So now the culture is a little bit more tight knit. So if you're like down on Roosevelt Row or anything like that, you see a little bit of it. It's like, oh, this is happening. But it's funny you said that too. Like, you could tell the people that were from here. I had the opposite experience. I didn't even know that there were black people who were born in Arizona until maybe like 3 years ago. And I had a conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, so where are you from? Because I'm never expecting it. And they're like, oh, I'm from here. I'm like, oh, what? Where that at? Where they grow the black people out here? They seen that crop yet. So yeah, no, but I feel like, especially being out here, having been out here for a long time, one of the things I appreciate about Arizona is that the culture is actually coming together. The people that come out here now,
it's beautiful.
They support.
So let me say this too. So we went to Atlanta.
Okay,
What's happening is a lot of people are going to Atlanta because Atlanta popping, especially in the sex space or anything you can go there because people are there.
Right, it's the Mecca.
But we were like, why run there when we can make Phoenix? We can make Phoenix pop like that.
You're right.
So what we're doing is we're meeting people in those areas, and they're like, I've never been to Phoenix. We're like, oh, well, we got an expo. We can bring you to Phoenix.
That's right.
So that's what we want to do is, like, even with our expo, is like bringing people to the city, and they're going to meet like people like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to meet other black folks in the space, and it's like, because you're the cannabis expert, and then we have a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. It's not just always Atlanta or New York. It's popping here in the West Coast.
Like Sir and Siphon had never been to Phoenix.
Really?
Had never been to Phoenix.
They tore it down.
Yeah, Dr. Tamar never been to Phoenix.
Oh,
she had been here before, but she's been
here once.
Yes,
but that was like in Sedona.
She was in the terminal,
right? But had never really submerged themselves, right? And so we wanted to give them just a little taste.
Good.
And so the next peoples that we bring,
They've been here to eat.
they never been here.
And that's crazy because they've been all over the world.
Right.
Okay.
They've been everywhere. They go everywhere. And I'm like,
been to Africa
So for-
multiple times.
Yeah.
Been to London multiple times.
so it's an honor for us to bring people here to Phoenix and give them
And
that
show them.
experience and then bring them to other Black-owned businesses and Black people.
Because I
period.
did let them know. Again, I'm not going to say the names, but when we met this person, I did mention the bookstore.
Oh, okay.
And his eyes lit up like Christmas
We
trees.
mentioned this
Okay.
studio
I
too.
see.
It's like Black-owned.
Right, 'cause that's
They like him. They don't think Phoenix. They got Black people.
Right.
That's
they
the
saw
problem.
they saw the clip of the podcast, and they were like, Black-owned podcasting studio. Like what? Like what are y'all doing out there? Like
The sick people don't know.
You got to come
when-
find out.
When we got to meet him, you know, in person, and I told him about the bookstore, I told him about the hat store, I told him about certain things like certain businesses. There are a lot of Black-owned businesses. His eyes lit up like Christmas trees because they are very pro-Black.
Right.
And they were like, oh, word? So y'all got it like that? Y'all got a Black-owned... I said, yeah, the only Black-owned bookstore in the state. They were like, what? So, yeah, they're very excited.
Yeah, I'm as far as I'm excited because I went to the last one and I'm excited because I saw things I didn't think I was gonna see.
Please let the people
Yes, give
know
your
what's like
experience.
your experience.
So I mean, I first of all, it was a great atmosphere. All of the vendors were very enthusiastic about their products, and not only enthusiastic, they had great products. So I bought stuff. I was with my lady. She bought stuff.
And she had a,
She was set up at the table. Yeah.
And she texted me. She was like, sis, so when we ready to...
I know. Everybody's waiting, and it's like when it's like certain things can hold stuff completely
Right.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have been ready for months, and
look.
then it just things happen. But that's okay because
Listen.
we look at it as fate. Like
I
we
say.
weren't supposed to be there. We're
say.
supposed to be doing something.
Yes. I like to say that to people too, because when things look like they go wrong, that means that whatever you were trying to do was not the best thing for you to do.
Absolutely.
So that when you get the next opportunity, it's like, oh man, this is way more ideal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I always look at every setback is really a challenge for a setup. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing.
And we're, like I said, we're very excited because when I tell you, when I hit you up the first time about the expo, what was your like initial like expectation, number one?
Okay, so first of all, you were telling me about the expo for damn near 4 years before it popped off. So I was expecting more of a, if I could be honest, I was expecting more of like a like a scholastic event. You know what I mean? Where it's like papers and diagrams. And, you know what I mean? Just because the way you were talking about it, you wanted the professionalism. So I thought it was going to be a little bit more like that. The fact that you turn around and it's as hands-on as you can be without getting in trouble. It's educational. There's so many different elements of education. We had nutritionists there. Obviously, I was there talking about the cannabis. I felt really privileged. We had actual experts in the field of sex and Black sex and men's health. And, you know, I'm just saying, like, there's so many things that we need to know as people. And I was having this conversation with somebody in the community. Sex is one of the areas in our community that we need more education in because that's where they get us. That's where they come and try to get us, right? They use sex to sell everything to us. They use sex to be able to market and put and use us to sell more things because they want to sell our sex. So for us to have mastery and control over that process makes it so that people cannot take advantage of us in those areas. We have a better understanding of how actually to manage our own bodies, our own sexuality, our own energy.
Yes.
I could tell you stories.
Can I tell the story of how we first met?
Sure.
Okay, so I've been knowing Asr for, oh my God, almost 7 years now. And I met him when we were doing Cash Mob together.
Yep.
And been knowing some of the brothers, but because it's funny how we met. So Brother Ali and Treminkis, when I first met them and I told them what I did, they were like, "Mer?" Like the face that they made.
Shout out Ali.
It was Ali, Brother Treminkis, and Brother Henry, and Sister Vanna.
Oh, okay.
They all looked at me. This was at Blue Seas.
Okay,
They
yeah.
all looked at me like, "You are what? Hey, you do what?" But Brother Asr did not look at me strange. He did not judge me. He did not put no pigeonholes on me. He was just like, "Oh, this what's up. Yeah, I like you. I wanna do some things. Let's." And so when I told him the idea, right? Because again, I hadn't even met Nisha yet. And I told him what I had in my head, and he was like, "You let me know
Yeah.
when I can be a part, when the tickets," right? And so when I met Nisha and I had told her the vision that I had, and we started where it was like, how we gonna get it? And so when COVID happened, it just put a kibosh on everything that we had planned. But I'm glad that it did, because it made us better as business owners and better at everything, right? So when we finally announced it, you were like, your hands were like this. Your hands was rubbing together like, you know what I'm saying, like money. And so when I brought it to Brother Asr, I said, "Okay, we're finally ready." And he was like, "I got some cooking for y'all." And so we were so honored and privileged to have you on the stage.
Thank you.
And when I tell you that people walked away, and it was so like, because I again, like, for those who know, because I'm very much like, and I say this all the time, I'm very much an empath. And Asr was like, "Why are you sitting in the back?" I said, "I can't be around all." He was like, "Say less, sis, I got you." And so I didn't get to hear any of what he was saying.
A lot of people came back and said they learned, like, when you were talking about edibles and stuff.
Okay.
So we got to get into this.
Okay, yeah, I'm with it.
There's a lot of people, like, you really dropped some nuggets around, like, edibles, how to properly take them, how they impact women versus men. Like, it was just
giving, like,
I mean, dropping some serious knowledge. So first thing before we get into that conversation, tell us, how did you get into the field of cannabis?
Okay, so I'm gonna make a really long story short. When I was coming up, I was not the cannabis person. I was against all drugs. I was super religious. It was just like, drugs are bad, okay?
Just say no.
It was very much say no for me, just because, being religiousized and having the perception of what cannabis is before ever understanding it, that's where I was with it.
Right.
But because of that, I really kind of alienated a lot of people in my family. So like my brother, my cousins, they were smoking at like 10, 13, you know what I mean? Just coping with what it means to be a young Black man in society. Right.
Sure.
And so after seeing that, being a compassionate person, I couldn't just be like, "Oh, y'all evil." So I had to do more research. So that's where I started. I started doing research into cannabis research, probably like back in 2008 is when I started my research. So I was researching just to verify that what my cousin and my brother and my friends were doing wasn't going to kill them. Right? Because at first it was like, "Oh yeah, well, you can smoke the wrong thing," and they was doing that reefer madness craziness, you know what I mean? Just confusing people with what the product is. Right. So for me, it's like, all right, so if I can understand what's happening, I can have a better conversation. This is my motivation. I can have a better conversation with them, get them to stop smoking, everybody be good.
Right.
The more I research, the more I realize this is not the conversation I should be having. I should be helping them smoke better. Get off of the process of smoking, ingest the product, get what they need to get done, because it has so many benefits. Outside of the psychoactive process of cannabis has about 130 different cannabinoids that about 120 of them haven't even been fully researched to know what they do, but they've been identified.
Want to keep in touch with us and what we have going on? Visit our website at omgoddesses.com and join our VIP list. Check out our upcoming events. Need to add to your spicy bag? Well, click on Shop Bedroom Candy for the top of the line bath and body products, makeup, and bedroom accessories. Consider booking us for a fun, sexy and educational show with your circle. We won't disappoint.
So my process is helping people understand the fact that cannabis is like, for lack of a better term, cannabis is like whatever herb medicine you take in, cannabis makes it like medical grade, okay? Because it opens up the body to be able to receive whatever medicine and heal itself in a way that usually is only available via clinical processes, okay?
Right.
So that's what I was finding out. I found out all that stuff. I eased up on my homies. I smoked maybe like one time in like 2013 or 2014, right? And after I did that, I was like, cool, I'm not gonna mess with nobody about this again. From there, I actually went on to study herbalism and permaculture because I'm very interested in helping grow food for us, because we live in food deserts and we don't have nutrients and things in the nature, right? So I started doing research on permaculture. I'm actually certified as a permaculturist as well.
Now, what is permaculture?
So permaculture, I'm gonna quickly segue. So permaculture,
the audience will know what that is.
Okay, so permaculture is a study of how to grow or garden in a way where you're following nature instead of doing it Western agricultural way where you're cutting lines and all these different old school farming techniques. You don't do that. You go out into a plot of land. You look to where that nature is coming into the property, where the sun's coming in, where the water's coming in, right? What level the soil's in, where the plants are growing already. And then you go like actual garden tender as nature being your main garden tender, and just follow up behind her. Do whatever she's doing. You find the edges, like what we talk about in permaculture's edge, wherever things meet. Water meets dirt. Vegetation meets, you know what I mean, gravel or whatever that edge is, that's where more life is going to grow. So you find that edge and then you just assist, you add the nutrients that it needs to be able to be more abundant, right?
Right.
There's a gentleman by the name of Masanobu Fukuoka. I like to mention him because he's actually the father of permaculture. His methodology is called natural farming. His book is called The One Straw Revolution. If you like reading, it's a great book to read. So I got into that. My grandmother got sick. My grandmother got sick with a very rare blood cancer. And it's funny because she got sick 3 years after my grandfather passed. My grandfather passed of mesothelioma, right? So when he was going out, he was having a lung process because he worked for Mobil Oil for a long time. I don't know if you're going to cut that out.
Yeah.
But
No, that's fine. Yeah.
he worked for Mobil Oil for a long time. They had bad experiences in their warehouses. He
Yes.
inhaled that asbestos, gave him mesothelioma. Her anxiety caused her to start stress eating. She started stress eating with everything that she had. She had a bunch of money from my grandfather's settlement. So she started stress eating a bunch of different things. And when she started stress eating, it started causing illness in her body. That's when she got this illness. They called me. They were like, oh, well, your grandmother is sick and, we're just preparing you. And I'm like, don't prepare me. Put her on cannabis therapy. You know what I mean? There's so many things to do. This is not, 1998 no more. You know what I mean? Somebody gets sick. There are ways to find out how to get them well, right?
Right.
And they laughed at me. They told me I'm just a pothead. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And they allowed her to do chemo. Now, this is a 60, almost 70-year-old woman. They allowed her to go do chemo. Once she actually did the chemo, she lost 60 pounds. She wasn't a large woman to begin with. She was so thin and frail that she ended up breaking her collarbone, lifting her comforter off of her in the morning. So just taking the covers off her in the morning, she broke her collarbone. They call me back crying now. Oh, sorry, how are we going to help us? And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah. So now you need to put her on something to help her recover, get her appetite back. So let's go back to what we were talking about before, put her on cannabis therapy. Right. So they did. They finally put her on this stuff called Rick Simpson oil, RSO. And when they put her on the RSO, she started getting her color back. And since she was in this state of, depletion, she couldn't really protest. It was like, all right, whatever.
Just give me the weed.
Just give me some. You know what I mean? Exactly. She was super old school.
She was probably like,
yeah. She was like, don't give me that weed stuff. I'm like, you deserve this.
Right.
You deserve it. If anybody deserved to be high, it's you.
Right. Get
so
better. Yeah.
They gave it to her. She got her appetite back within the week. She had gained her actual weight back. She gained like 30 pounds back within about 2 weeks just because she was eating again. Right. So after that, it was like, oh, man. Now everybody believes me.
Oh, sorry. No, he talking about
Right,
Brother
right.
Asr. Okay.
Right. So then from there, I was able to, parlay a little bit of family money to go and get certified. Because I was like, look, if y'all are serious about this and this is happening, I want to do more study. So the only place that I could go, the only place that I could go to learn about cannabis was New York, okay?
Wow.
California, and a little place in Arizona.
Where was it?
It's called Herbal Risings. It's right off of like 19th Street. It's been there for almost 35 years.
Oh, wow.
Arizona is one of the first places in the United States that had a medical patient cannabis program.
Oh.
So we were like the pioneers. There were so many people out here who were growing, just growers, right? That all the because y'all see it now, this rec. Right. Oh my God, there's so many dispensaries on every corner.
Yes.
Every dispensary that was out here had to be supplied by a patient at one point. So all the patients, the people who are actually ill, they were the ones that were growing the products. They were the ones that were the experts. They were the ones that were teaching all the stuff out here. And so they had their own little setup where they were teaching about it. And so I went and got certified with them. It took me like 3 weeks, maybe about $250, but I learned more in that particular session than anybody else that I knew in the state. I started working in dispensaries. When I worked in dispensaries, I realized right away that I knew more than 90% of the people who were in the industry just by going to that little thing. And so from there, I was like, everybody needs some sort of education, because you can come into a dispensary, people can be like, oh yeah, I got glaucoma, right? So you got pressure in your eyes, you got issues going on in your sinus cavities. You need something that's going to relax you.
But does everybody in there, those bud tenders, everybody's not that
Nobody
educated.
knows. Yeah. Nobody knows. So they'll be like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's a stimulant. And so then you go and you get, because what we call a sativa, right? We call a sativa that have stimulating compounds in it, right? The terpenes that are stimulating, right? And so it's like uppers. Same thing you get in coffee or citrus, whatever you do to stimulate yourself. Those same terpenes are in this cannabis. And so if that blood starts rushing to that area and it's not like de-inflamed, then you're going to have sinus pressure. You're going to feel more pain, more irritation than you would if somebody gave you the right recommendation.
Right. And see, when I go in there, all they know is sativa,
They smoke good.
indica, or
That smoke
hybrid.
good. Right. That's it. That's it. And so since
And
they
you
don't
feel
know,
a little up or you feel a little down, or it's this one's they'll say this one is dominant sativa, but nobody really, you don't really get the education there.
You don't.
I wonder if they are educated. They just hiring people like at a restaurant.
yeah, they
probably.
do, honestly. And again, as an industry professional, I've been in the industry for 15 years. That's the one thing about the industry that I despise the most. It's the fact that the people who run the dispensaries don't care about the education that they're giving their actual staff. So their staff can't then pass off the information to their customer base. And now that everybody's recreational, they care even less.
That sounds like you need to have your own dispensary.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying? And then,
You know what?
I'm serious. It sounds like you need to have your own dispensary. And then the people that come there, y'all, maybe they have to go through classes and be educated. And then, and that's your niche.
Right. Well, I still have the program right now where I do bud tender education through my actual company, which is Ganja Guided. You can find me at Ganja Guided on Instagram or myganja.guide.
Yeah.
That's it. .guide, not .com. Myganja.guide. And you can find my website. I still have the bud tender programs on there.
So
but they got to be willing to pay, and they got to be willing to.
Are the dispensaries so with that? Do you go to different dispensaries and say, "Hey, I got this program. I can teach our people to be more educated." Okay.
Yeah, and then the thing about it is, though, the actual dispensary has to value that.
Right.
And so
some of them don't.
The problem is that 5 years ago they might have been interested in it, but now since it's become rec, everything is corporate. There's only about 3 companies out here. The rest of them are like mom and pop, and they're being pushed out and bought out. So you said, look, maybe I should have my own dispensary. Funny thing you say that. I was actually on the board when they started doing the new recreational laws. In order to make it recreational, they had to make sure that the people who were affected, disproportionately affected by the war on drugs, had to be compensated. So they said they were going to give out 26 licenses for the people who have been disproportionately affected by the war on drugs. And you know who that is. That's not white women and white men.
Right.
Right. However, out of the 26 licenses, 3 of them went to people of color.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's like
that really butters my biscuit.
Right.
Like that really pisses me
Chaps
off.
you pretty bad, right?
It because it does. It's like, because a lot of our men, and I talk about this all the time, because again, when I talk about, and it's all full circle, a lot of our men are incarcerated.
Yes.
Behind
Yes.
cannabis.
Just cannabis.
right. And not
Fentanyl.
right.
No, not crack,
Not-
not
Just
heroin,
cannabis.
just weed.
Not
And I'm
violent
just like,
offenders.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it really butters my biscuits when I see things like this and I hear things like this, because I'm just like, what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, oregano is a more dangerous herb than cannabis
How is that?
because at the levels that you can actually ingest oregano at, it becomes more dangerous for the body. Like if you
Like
ingest
regular, like oregano, like
That you
put
cook
it in
with?
your
that you
spaghetti.
could put in your spaghetti, if you had concentrated oregano, if you had enough concentrated oregano, you can take that and be harmed more
So if
sooner
I do
than
a
by
drug-
do
if
cannabis.
They do a drug test at my job and I put in the oregano.
Nah, no, they not tested on. What you saying?
They don't test for oregano.
What I'm saying is
Saying
that
the concentration of the
right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that in order to die from experiencing cannabis, you would have to be crushed by it. You feel what I'm saying? Like you would have to be crushed by the amount of product that you would have to ingest.
Right.
You literally physically have to be crushed by it in order to actually have the product kill you. Whereas you can concentrate oregano and take enough of that to make you really sick and or kill you. You see what I'm saying? As an herb.
Yeah.
As an herb, right? Because most herbs are like that. Blue lotus,
Sleepy,
St. John's
happy,
wort,
hungry. Remember
but
that?
all of these, right. See, so
I didn't remember. That's what
exactly that was the designation. Are you sleepy? Are you happy? Hungry? That's like no, that's not what you can get all those in one weed. So that's what I'm saying, one joint. But the thing about it is that the way cannabis has been marketed is that it's dangerous. It creates psychosis and all this other
But
stuff.
I think a lot of that is around the pharmaceutical companies too. They're gonna put whatever it is out there
Yeah.
to keep their, like, no, just come take the, take our
take this
pill.
pill.
Right.
Because weed is bad and this or that. When it's like weed is natural.
Right.
But a lot of that is propaganda. Let's just be real.
I mean, you said it right, and we're on the podcast talking about sex health, and they'd rather tell you, hey, take this pill in order to, deal with your ED instead of, hey, you're eating terribly. Oh,
Yes.
you need to exercise more. Where's your psych? Where your head at? Bow. You see what I'm saying? They don't help you understand that the body is a system.
Yes.
And that in order to get the system to function properly, you have to go through the process of reconditioning the body.
Yeah.
They would rather say, hey, take this pill. And then the people who live here have been conditioned
Right.
to take easy fixes. Microwave ruined us. Microwave ruined us. So the corporations it's easy for them, right? The pill pushers, it's easy for them. They can say, okay, well, in order for you to get better, we're the only ones that know how to make you better. Legally, we're the only people that can actually cure you of anything. They're the only people that can use cure, right? Doesn't matter if it's actually a cure or not. And then if you try to learn something that's natural, that's witchcraft or that's natural medicine. It's our pseudo medicine, right?
I know it's
Like, I think-
anything alternative than the
I
Western
think of
medicine.
I think of Baba, right? Dr. Sebi.
Ashe.
And
Ashe. Shout out to Sabi.
our RIP to the legend.
Ashe.
New Orleans. Because I've been following his work since I was a teenager.
Ashe.
And so when I tell you I've been conscious before I even knew what conscious was.
There you go.
And so following his teachings and following what he's about and just the knowledge, right, of what they try to do to this man.
Yeah.
Right? And what they try to do and the lies and the propaganda that they try to put on
He
him.
won that case. Hello.
He sure did. He sure did.
Ran him
Science
out.
never lies.
But they ran him out and
Yeah,
he had
to the
go
Honduras, yeah.
and then he had to go to Honduras.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And like again, listening to Baba before he passed, like certain things like did you know that broccoli is like homogenous? It's not something that you're supposed certain. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been eating broccoli my whole life, Baba. What you talking about? No broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
No cauliflower. No, absolutely not. Anything white?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, Baba, like, what are you doing?
What are you supposed to eat? That's the question.
Right.
Right.
Like certain nuts?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like no. Like
Yeah.
even like certain like no.
Right.
So again, like when I tell you there are like things that you are saying that I have been listening to, and again, as someone that is plus size, we talk about health and wellness from being plus size, and people attack us because they think we are promoting obesity, and I'm like, no, nigga, we don't promote that shit. We don't be sitting up here saying go eat 10 cheeseburgers. Like, what are you talking about? There are big people out here in the world that exercise, that do things, that are doing amazing things. Like I look at someone like Lizzo, for an example. And she's vegan, but nobody wants to talk about that.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about her being vegan. They only see the big body.
Right.
And they just, because she's big, she's promoting unhealthiness. And I'm like, most of you niggas don't even eat fruit.
Right.
Most of you niggas don't even drink water.
Right.
I don't want to listen to nobody. And I mean this with all in my heart, like in my heart, in my soul, nigga, like in my heart. And we talked about this, me and this woman right here, we talked about this. I said, I don't trust nobody that the first inclination in the morning is to get on Instagram and smoke something. Again, that's your business. That's your business.
That's right.
And drink brown liquor.
Yeah, no.
I don't trust nobody.
No.
I don't trust you. Like, why would I take love advice from Lil Boosie?
I don't understand why anybody takes any advice from Instagram at all. But you're right. You are completely right.
But it's these goddamn people that have so much to say.
You right.
But it's like, do you drink alkaline water, nigga?
Right. And I think the hard part about, especially when it comes to health, is that
from black people,
it's too much judgment. It's too much judgment.
It's
and I say like this, we have so much, and that permeates so many areas of our reality, but there's so much of ourselves that we look at, and we look at through the eyes of the colonizer without knowing.
Come on.
Right? Because our state of being as a people has been brought upon us by conditioning, right? The conditioning of being in trauma, right? And I'm a Taurus, right? So I like to eat. That's a part of my comfort process, all right? I've gone through enough fasts to understand that my stomach is my second brain for real, all right? So what we don't understand is that on top of that, we have the fact that our ancestors were not allowed to eat certain things. They were only allowed to eat other things, right? So if we're like, oh yeah, this person has a proclivity to eat in this specific way, it's because that's in their DNA. If you don't have, if you don't have an understanding that we are looking at each other through hundreds of years of trauma, and that we have to allow everybody to go through their own process, their own journey in order to get back to health, then you're not helping. You're just saying things like, I appreciate like Dr. Latham, where he has his own ideas. He says that veganism is a word. It's like a fad, right? Because you could say vegan, but then people go eat a bunch of unhealthy processed food. Bunch of unhealthy processed food, and you don't get healthy. So who are you helping, right? You care about the animals, but you don't care about the humans. You don't care about yourself.
About your own self.
Right. So you have to be able to
relearning.
It's about relearning. It's about understanding what's got you to where you are. Because some people be like, oh yeah, I'm overweight and I think I'm eating all this crazy stuff, and you might just be drinking soda. That might be the only thing that's messing you up. You know what I'm saying? And that you get back to a place where your body is healthy, find equilibrium. You still might not look like. But
and it's not about labels too,
right?
Because okay, so I'm so excited. I'm working with Elizabeth. I do for a while. So I had my first session with her, and I got to get better. My problem is my self-control. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. She sent me these videos. I gotta watch them too.
Oh, okay.
But just really trying to, I told her, I was like, I don't want to be a vegan. I don't want to be none of that. And she was like, wait, get rid of the labels. Not even talking about labels. All we doing is focusing on you just incorporating more fruit and vegetables and water in your life.
That's
all I want you to do.
That's right.
And then we gonna find, she was like, I want you to watch these videos so you can see about wheat and about all these different things. So you can really be educated about what we put in our body.
Shout out.
So yes.
Be more clean. Shout out hydrocolon therapy.
And I tell Sister Elizabeth, I'm like, I'm gonna go to you. Cause I'm gonna go.
Go and get it.
But I ain't gonna be vegan. Not yet.
don't
She doesn't care about
don't
that.
go vegan.
I'm gonna go veganism.
Don't go vegan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go veganism a little later in life.
feel you.
Right.
I feel you.
But I tell people all the time, because again, we talk about being in this industry and being plus size, and people think we promote obesity, and that's furthest from the case. We promote healthy
And body positivity.
I should.
That's what we're promoting, is that it's body positivity more so than anything.
But
because you have to love who you are.
I say, thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much.
You gonna
Yes.
sit there and be miserable until you
Absolutely.
get to this size?
Yes.
No, it's like,
No.
and the whole thing is like, yeah, you that size, you can wear, you know what I'm saying? You want to feel sexy, wear or do what makes you feel sexy.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Find people who feel that you are sexy. You don't want nobody to be with you. Well, if you lose 50 pounds, then I'll be with you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's work together
Right.
and build together.
Wow.
But I love you in the skin that you are.
That's important. That's important. I try to tell people too, because like I hear a lot of people having conversations around a number of different things. But the thing that's important is the fact that if you have a problem, you have to first love yourself.
Yes.
You have to go through the process of loving yourself first. If you haven't mastered the process of being able to look at yourself and say, I love me, right? Then you're not in a good space. You can't do anything on the outside of you to fix that.
Or you're seeking that from people on the outside. So what I find is like, I'm married, you know, I've just been married it'll be a year.
Congratulations.
And what I learned, because I had been single for so long, and then I had been in relationships before, but what I learned in this is that, like whenever I was seeking stuff from him or it's like I had to learn to not seek affirmation or everything from my partner. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, he's not spending enough time with me, or he's not this or that. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, do you spend time with you? Do you enjoy time with you? Because a lot of people don't even know how to be by themselves.
Right.
And then they always want to be with somebody. So
I tell
you do have to learn how to self-reflect and be like, okay, you the shit. You don't need all of that.
I tell people, I don't trust nobody that can't be by themselves.
I say.
Right? You can't spend time with yourself.
Who want to spend time with you? You don't like to be with you.
Right. Like,
That's the
you
deal.
don't like your alone time by yourself. I can't trust you. Why would I take love advice
I say.
from a motherfucker that's been married 5 times?
Right. Right.
Like, that's dumb as hell. Like, you done failed at life. At this point. Go sit down and go be by yourself. And so for me, but for me as someone that is my size and my height and who absolutely adores herself.
I say.
Right? And it took me a long time to get to this level of loving me.
That's beautiful.
And so for me, when we tell people that no, we do not promote obesity, we promote positivity and loving whatever skin you are in and whatever size you are at, and we promote that.
But at the same time, we bring people like you on, and people like we had Brother Leo on the last time. So we bring people on to talk about, you know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to sex, it's about the whole you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can't just be out here slinging dildos and talking about, use this and do this. Again, that's a quick fix.
Right.
And then the other thing is like, even when it comes to relationships, like we not out here telling people, girl, you don't need him, get this dildo. You know, it's all about the whole. First of all, we are about our people and relationships and the preservation of our people and how us being together is important and not being against each other, all of these different things. So why would we, you know what I'm saying? Why would we do that? But it's still all about the self-love.
Yeah.
Right.
And then back to that. But we got to get back to the cannabis.
Right. So let's just talk about that right quick, because we're talking about sex. We talk about like actual sex and cannabis and how that affects our love and our relationships.
Absolutely.
So the funny part about it is that you mentioned that, right? I'm probably in the most significant. I'm not even probably. I think I found the one, right? And that's not something that doesn't happen to everybody. So being in my space.
I love her too. I love her.
I told you years ago, I said, because you were single at the time.
Yep.
And I was like,
for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. And I told you, I said, no, your person is here. Your person is
I sure didn't believe you. Not in Arizona. I didn't think it was happening. I thought it was not happening.
I said, well, I told this one too. I said, she's going to get married before I do. And I told her, and I said, I told you, I said, your person, you've been knowing this person for years and y'all just ain't really connected on that level yet. And you just looked at me, you were like, sis, what the?
It is Arizona.
You were like, nah, ain't no sisters out here on the
level.
On the high frequency.
On the level.
That's what it is. Like they got to be on that level.
They got to be on that level. And then when y'all announced your relationship, because I told your partner the same thing, and it was like kismet.
Right. Right.
Very much kismet.
I say.
So when I tell you, I knew. I knew. I was like, yep. So as long as I'm the flower girl,
yeah, get it in. Get it in.
I don't want to be the flower girl everybody wedding and want to throw sunflower seeds because people might be hungry.
Hey, look, they the good type. Just it's but yeah,
the flower girl. Right. Matters to me.
I'm a hit up.
So you
I found the one, right? And while I was going through the process, what I realized is that I've been single for a long time.
Yes.
So I completely forgot about what that represents.
Right.
Yes.
And another thing that I found out, and this might be TMI, but I'm just going to say it.
This is an open space.
Right. In what I recognize is that in every other relationship I've had, in every other sexual encounter that I've had, I've been losing my energy. I've been losing my sexual energy. People have been taking my sexual energy from me. And it wasn't until I was with somebody who was sexually intelligent. I'm saying this because it's important. Okay? Somebody who is sexually intelligent to be able to say, okay, cool, so this is happening to you. I'm not judging you. This is how you get from point A to point B.
Come on.
Right? She bought me a book on men's health by a brother named Montauk Chia. I'm not going to tell you the name of the book. You're going to do your own research.
Yes,
but that talks about men's cultivation, sexual cultivation, semen retention, and the fact that most men don't even recognize that if you master your what do they call it? Your floor. It's called your pelvic floor.
Yeah,
you master the muscles on your pelvic floor.
A lot of people think about women only with their pelvic floor, but men don't know. You have a pelvic floor also.
As a man, if you master the muscles in your pelvic floor and master direction of the energy in your body, you can transfer your sexual energy from one state to the next. And you can have sex perpetually without
and can you
losing your energy.
Can you explain, right? Because we talk about semen retention on this podcast and the benefits of semen retention, right?
Okay.
And explaining to the men out there who don't read fucking books.
Right, read the books.
Niggas be niggas.
Right.
Not nigga. Right.
I mean, hey, they be digging up.
And so, you know, can you explain that you can still have an amazing orgasm, still do semen retention?
So this is the deal, right? Most men, anyway, we masturbate too often. We masturbate too often. We lose our energy, and so we don't understand what it means to be depleted. Just to give you an example, one, I think it's like a tablespoon of semen is equivalent to like 10,000 gallons of blood. As far as how potent the actual energy is in the semen. I might not be getting those figures right, but I know it's significant, okay? Right. They say busting a nut is like the equivalent of running 20 miles. So if you ain't running 20 miles a day and understanding what it means to be that tired after running 20 miles, you really shouldn't be busting on nuts. You shouldn't be busting on nuts. You need to get in the full shape. You need to get in the full shape. Right?
Niggas out there.
Think about this.
Come on.
Think about this.
Because think how tired.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Think about how tired you are after you orgasm.
Right.
You're like,
knocked out, night. You don't have energy.
Think about what nature's trying to tell you, right? Because this is what I understood, right?
Yes.
If I can't run 20 miles, right, then I don't have the stamina to please my woman.
damn.
Put a goddamn mic drop on that.
I'm just saying, your body is telling you don't have the stamina. You need to be able to have the stamina to be able to survive 20 miles to be able to get to the finish line, your finish line.
That's
not to mention your woman who is energetic wise, she's insatiable. She's always taking your energy. She's creating space to hold your energy at an infinite level. You only have a certain amount of energy as a man. You only have a certain amount of energy as a man. Once you, all I'm saying is, if you're in the position I'm in, meaning you're past the 30 years on the planet mark, right? If you don't understand the difference between how you felt before and how you felt after, you're not paying attention to yourself. You're going to cause yourself some health issues. You need to start retaining your energy because it's going to start causing illness in your body if you don't. This is the reason why I'm saying that we get back to cannabis. One of the biggest issues with people when they talk about cannabis in men is the testosterone process. They say CBD lowers testosterone in men, okay? What it does is it regulates testosterone in men, right? So if you're taking it, it inhibits certain levels of production of testosterone to try to preserve your man essence, right? Same thing it does for women, but since women don't exert energy, they lose energy on their cycle, right? Men lose energy when we have sex, right? We don't have that cycle. We're supposed to replenish every month. Our cycle is we replenish our energy every month, and then every time we have sex, we exude that energy, right? Whereas women, you take in energy through sex, and then every cycle you lose that energy. You recycle that energy, rebirth your energetic cycle, right? So since we don't understand that, we put ourselves as men as a deficit. That's why we got to go get this Viagra, and we ended up with these brain problems where we can't think no more. There's a I'm not gonna mention the brother's name, but there's a doctor. Well, I will mention one of them. His name is Jehudi. Right. And there's another brother by the name of Inky Sangriel. If you haven't looked at him, he's on Instagram and YouTube, and he's a black biologist. And what he talks about is that essentially sperm is brain matter. Essentially, because it's coming from a part in your brain, running down your spine and then being cultivated in your testes to be released into a woman in order for you to have a child, okay? If you're not planning on having a child, then that energy is recyclable, as we were talking about earlier about the pelvic floor.
Right.
You can control the muscles, keep the semen from leaving your body, and then recycle it back up into the place where it was supposed to be in your brain, right? Which becomes more potent, right? It's a form of ormus, or what's the word? It's a monatomic gold. So monatomic gold, y'all know what that is?
No.
So y'all know who what's my guy's name? 19 Keys is, right?
Yes.
You know he's selling that gold water, right? So he has monatomic gold in the water that's helping to increase your electromagnetic field as a man. If your electromagnetic field is high, then you have more energy to pull from in order to be able to live your life, and so it helps your sexual health. And basically what you're ejaculating are precious metals that help in your brain think, right? You're creating, and I'll say like this, every time you ejaculate, you got billions of sperm coming out you, right? Each one of them sperm is a little copy of you. So you created billions of copies. How much energy you think it takes to create a billion copies of you? And then some men, they ejaculate 1, 2, 3 times a day.
Right.
That's a lot of energy. So I wouldn't be doing that. I would say use cannabis to regulate yourself. Right. Some men, they look like me, like I was saying. When I started in this process, learning how to be a better lover, right? Not that I couldn't satisfy, but there's an aspect of like, I want to be able to hit it once, you satisfied and then be able to continue if I need to.
Right.
I don't want to be like, oh, that's it. All right, cool. I'm going to sleep and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Maybe I'll be able to get it in tomorrow.
Right.
I want to be able to continue until she's satisfied.
Right.
And I can turn it all over and be satisfied and still retain my energy. That's not possible for a lot of people who smoke weed, especially males. Why? Because your sensitivities are too high, right? So you think you got, premature ejaculation, but you just smoke too much weed. You know what I mean? You just smoke too much weed. You need to have less weed so your body is not as sensitive. The receptors, the anandamide receptors, CB1 and CB2 receptors, are not as sensitive to THC, which, again, I said this when we were at the expo. Right. Anandamide is the natural form of THC that your body makes. It's called the pleasure molecule. When it sits on your CB1 and CB2 receptors, it stays there for like 30 seconds. You feel it and it's gone, okay? THC mimics anandamide, but sits on the receptor for up to 8 hours. So you're experiencing bliss for up to 8 hours.
Right.
If your body is not prepared to deal with that pleasurable experience,
Right.
as soon as you get in it, you're like, oh. You see what I'm saying? Because you're too sensitive.
Right.
You need to reduce your process. Now, there are other men where it works the opposite way. When it actually hits the receptors, it numbs the receptors. So that means taking cannabis is actually going to prolong your experience. It reduces inflammation, puts you in a position where you can actually get the blood flow that you need. So some people smoke weed and that's the only way they can get an erection. So there's,
Yeah. I think some people do that with alcohol too.
Right. Because of the way, and again, it depends on how the body is being modulated. I can't tell you exactly what's going on with alcohol. I can only tell you with cannabis because that's where my field of expertise
We
is.
should have you got to check out our CBD products that we offer.
It's already coming out on the table.
I don't know. We don't have the CBD. We'll have you check them out because, and you can go on our website. Like they show the research, and they actually say it's THC free. I want to talk to you about that. THC free, because not everybody can say that around CBD. Because we know if it's a plant, right? I mean, it's all CBD, THC. It all comes
together in the same
plant.
plant.
There is some percentage of THC in
Usually, yes.
CBD. So, can you talk a little bit about when a person when it can be considered THC free, and then also what are the benefits of CBD compared to THC for women and men?
So the thing we're talking about with CBD is called an isolate. You can usually, when you use isolates, and I don't know what method you went through, but just my experience is that
have to give you can research it and look at it.
When you create an isolate, you got to use chemicals to separate it. You got to use one chemical to separate a compound from another chemical, right? In order to isolate the CBD and then just have a bunch of CBD. Most of these compounds are in chains in the plant. So I'm usually not a big fan of isolates. I'm usually a bigger fan of like full spectrum, because whatever the plant is doing, as a semi-herbalist, I'm not certified, but learning about herbal medicine, understanding that herbal medicine is about synergy. Everything is about plants working together. When you take a plant and you say, okay, the CBD is the only thing we need, and you give it to a person, the plant already has gone through the millions of years of evolution to know what is going to work in your body. So when you isolate it, your body is looking for that compound and it's getting an isolate, and it's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? It's just like sugar, right? If you eat processed sugar, right? Because processed sugar is isolated sugar. In the sugar cane, it's connected to a water molecule. If you were to eat it straight from the cane, your body's not going to dry out. The yeast in your body that's feeding on the sugar that's going to create alcohol in the system to dry the body out even more, it's not going to be able to feed on that because yeast is hydrophobic. So it's like poison. It's like, oh, that's my favorite food, but it's got poison on it, so I'm not going to mess with it, right? So when you isolate that sugar, though, and make it a processed sugar and then eat it, that yeast is like free-for-all. They can turn that sugar right into alcohol and dry you out. So it's the same thing with any other product. If you have sugar, the body has to then take that molecule, add sugar to it, and then process it, which means it has to take from what it already has, right? Same thing with cannabis. If you are ingesting something that CBD, it's going to look for other molecules to pair with it in order to make it bioavailable to the body. So it's going to drain, it's going to pull things from the body. That's why they say CBD is not good for men as far as testosterone is concerned, because most of them are in isolates. They're in isolates, and then they're in way too high doses, right? If you're going to have high doses of CBD, you need high doses of THC. You need high doses of CBG. You need high doses of CBN. So that way the molecule can balance itself out in your body. And I'm an advocate for high doses of CBD, right? Just have a little bit of that other stuff in there, the terpenes, the entire thing, because the plant knows. The plant knows better than we do, right? It's been through millions of years of just math. This works, this doesn't. This works, this doesn't. Yes or no. It's ones and zeros. We're like, well, I think let's do some research. Let's figure it out. And then the people who are doing the research are industry people. We need this to do this because we need to make money this way. So let's do this test. We need money to do this. So let's do this test because this will prove this so we can sell this. They're not saying, what does this do? How does it actually do? Let's just run a test generally to see how it works and then have an objective perspective. That's not how this testing works. So even when you're talking about cannabis and you're doing the research, you have to be able to look at it from the perspective of, and I know I'm being like real scholastic, right?
No, love it.
Yeah.
All right. Even when you're doing the research, you want to do the research from the perspective of whatever you're reading, take with a grain of salt. Be able to compare it to other people in the same field, just like you're doing any sort of research on a research paper. Compare and contrast information so that you can observe what's happening. Because at the end of the day, if you're smoking weed and you've been smoking weed for 10 plus years, you're already a cannabis expert. You have a ton of information. You just need to divide it and understand what it is so that you can be an expert on your own body chemistry, because that's really what it is. It's about understanding your body chemistry, because our body adjusts. That's why some people can drink a bunch of alcohol and have no problem. Somebody can drink one beer and they go into the hospital. You know, it's body chemistry. It's how our bodies adjust to these chemical compounds. So as far as the difference between men and women, just to try to hit all those processes, women, cannabis is made for y'all, right? Specifically because the only thing anybody ever ingests is a female cannabis plant. So all that beautiful feminine energy that men get, that get us all crazy high and stuff like that and allow us to chill out and be creative, that's feminine energy. You're literally ingesting feminine energy when you're ingesting cannabis plant, right? That's why you get creative and you're able to be intuitive. And it's like, oh, what happened in the next room? And oh, I had ESP with my homie. You having these processes on cannabis because you're ingesting feminine energy, right? If you're a man and you keep ingesting feminine energy over and over and over and over and over again, you don't have any balance. Guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up with more feminine energy than you have masculine energy. So you're gonna end up with, and shout out to Uncle Snoop. You'll end up with auntie fingers. You see them?
Auntie what?
Auntie fingers. You seen him? Snoop. He had, you know what I mean? He had auntie fingers, right? Because he's just been in that space for a long time. That's how he's coped, right? Doesn't mean he's less of a man, but your traits are going to be more in that space.
Auntie finger.
Yeah.
Well, auntie fingers. I love it.
So, you know, but for women, they're not ingesting the male plant primarily. They're ingesting the female plant. So you're just going to get more of the same. So it's just going to increase your ability to regulate your own process. Going back to my lady, she can't smoke for anything. If I give her half a hit, if I'm smoking around her, she get high. Okay, I could go smoke outside, come back inside. I'm high. She next to me, she get high.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you got a partner and you smoke, ask me if I'm lying. Especially if your partner is especially a spiritually sensitive person, they're gonna be able to pick up on it right away, right?
Yeah.
So,
because I can't take it at all.
See?
Like it just smoke, any type of smoke, I can't. I like my body reacts. It's like allergic reaction.
Yep.
Like I cannot take it at all. So yeah.
So what I do is I just created these. I don't have them for sale. I'll give y'all some samples if you want some. All right. I just started making these. I just started making these edibles. They're honey taffies. They're made from honey and brown sugar. Nothing crazy. All right. And then I infuse the same herbs that are from Healing Hands Oasis, right, that my girl makes. I infuse those same oils into the actual taffies. I gave her like a 0.5 the other day, and she reacted like she had a whole 100 milligram brownie. 0.5. But she was great. She loved it, right? And again, she didn't even got to ingest nothing, and I'll smoke, and she's higher than she was when I actually gave her the cannabis. You feel what I'm saying? So these subtle energies, and I'm saying this because what I'm really alluding to is that Black women have a divine essence, and women in general have a more divine essence and connection to the ether than men do, right? So you don't actually have to smoke or ingest cannabis to get the high experience, right? You have an innate mastery and connection to that.
Yes.
Cannabis is going to be more of a regulator for you. It's going to regulate your hormones. It's going to regulate your inflammation. It's going to make sure that you don't have as many cortisol splashes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So cortisol is the stress hormone. Cortisol is the thing that causes most diseases in the body. Whenever you're feeling stressed about anything, you get a cortisol splash. Brief understanding, in nature, cortisol is what is called the flight or fight response. If you're a gazelle and you see a lion, cortisol makes it so that all of your energy goes into your body, leaves your brain, leaves your higher functions, anything that helps me run, that's what I'm doing. But that chemical, it puts a strain and stress on the muscles. Why? Because it's meant to get down and get going, right? We're not animals no more. We in the office, your boss comes up to you and says, Asr, yada, 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 yada. That's stress. Cortisol is splashing on your body. You're not running, right? You turn around, you talk to your homie. They say, oh, yeah, well, such and such is, there's a bomb going off in this place in the world. That's stress. That's cortisol hitting your muscles. We get like hundreds of cortisol splashes a day, which deteriorates our muscles, which causes inflammation, which causes dis-ease. Cannabis helps, and is one of the few things on the planet where you can take that and it helps to defuse and actually neutralize that chemical in the body so that you can have a healthier experience in your body, not have as much soreness, not have as much inflammation. People who have chronic inflammation usually is from stress. So if you smoke, I wouldn't recommend smoking, and I'm going to say that on live on air. I never recommend anybody smoke anything because it's not healthy. But in an emergency situation, smoking might save your life or someone else's. You know what I mean? I've seen this happen a lot. I got people in my life I got a brother who's 6'11", damn near 300 pounds. And him getting mad is never a good thing. Even if he's not going to hurt nobody, when he's mad, just his demonstrative nature makes everybody else around him fearful. Right? And so if you scared, you're going to do some coward stuff. And a lot of people, too many people got pistols. You feel what I'm saying? To be cowards on the planet. Right? So I believe cannabis has saved his life on a number of occasions, because in a situation where he might have like popped off and said something to somebody, calms him down so he can be like, you know what? You tripped.
Yeah. Listen, it's two other things I want to say, and then we're going to do our spicy bag, and then I'm going to have you tell everybody where they can find you.
Got you.
Well, at our expo, you talked about edibles and sucking them versus, can you just kind of give a little brief insight on that?
No problem. Just like the candies I'm talking about right now, there's a difference between eating and sublingual delivery. So you have the liver where cannabis is processed, and then you have the blood where cannabis is processed. Sublingually, under the tongue, you're going to get more absorption into the blood. That's a molecule called delta-9 THC. Right? Delta-9 THC is a very large molecule. It attaches to one cell, CB1 or CB2 receptor at a time. Okay? When you eat it, it's processed into your liver. Your liver breaks it down into delta-11. That's about 100 times smaller than the delta-9 molecule. So it can actually get inside of the cells, not on the outside of the cells. They get inside of the cells for more receptions. So that means it's going to be a longer, more intense perspective. In order to have a not as long lasting and not as intense experience, I always recommend sucking on candies. Why? Because it's going to absorb under your mouth. Under the tongue and in the cheeks are 90 to 70% absorption, as opposed to in the gut and in the liver, which is only about 30% absorption of the medicine. So you're going to get more medicine. It's going to be more useful to you, and it's going to be less intense if you suck on the candies as opposed to eating baked goods and things like that, where it's going to be heavier. You're going to go into the sunken place, right? But you're spending more money to get the same experience.
Yeah.
As well as it's harder to regulate, right?
Yeah.
So unless you never feel your medicine, I'm always going to recommend you suck on the candies. Get a candy, and even if you get a candy that's going to saturate, right? Taffies, anything with fat in it, right? That's going to help to actual transfer the medicine and get you the experience that you want. And also start low and slow. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Start low and slow. 10 milligrams is the recommended dose. I'm going to say 5 milligrams is a recommended dose because some people take 10 and they lose their minds.
Right.
5 is a good spot to start.
The problem with me at edibles is I feel like I can't control it.
Right.
Like it just 3 hours later, then I'm like, whoa.
Still going, right.
It's crazy. So yeah, that's why I was so glad that you had brought that up.
Right.
It sounds to me, before we go to
Yes.
Spicy Bag, is that you guys really need to hold on. Let me specify this. Let me really, you guys really, if you are a dispensary or just a regular person and just want to learn about cannabis and how it can help and treat your body, this brother right here is the one y'all need to talk to. Brother Asr. I'm just telling y'all because I'm just like, my mind is blown. And I feel like even like my husband and I need to come and just have a session with you.
I'm down with
So
it.
if we want to do this, you know, that we can actually be educated and understand what we're putting in our body. Especially around, like, you know, we're older. I'm 50, he'll be 55. You know, there's already an issue around, you know, sexuality and, you know, we want to be healthy and do the right things. That's why that's why I'm meeting with Elizabeth and doing all these things. Because we just got married. I'm like, I'll be damned if we lose each other. You know, we need time. But I'm going to put it on Kiki.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the spicy bag. Because when we went to Atlanta, we had a
swag bag.
yeah, we got swag bags, which means that we rolled out some new products. So Kiki, go ahead, fire away on the new product. What are the new
I'm
products?
excited because I've been using this for a week now and some change, and I absolutely love this. It's probably better than Bust a Move. I'm not even gonna.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna hold you. So this is one of our newest products from Bedroom Candy, and it's our Smooth Operator anti-chafing cream. Sorry. Come on,
Okay.
because men chafe too. Like, again, when we talk about Bedroom Candy and we talk about the amazing products, we have a full men's line, as you know, because you love the beard oil.
I do. Beard oil. Look, I love the beard oil. I love the body butter. I like the chapstick.
Come on.
Y'all ain't had the chapstick?
Yeah.
You tripping. You tripping.
And so I put Brother Asr on the beard oil. How does it feel on your beard?
Oh, it feels great. It feels amazing. I still use it.
Yes.
Like on a regular basis. It you know, it has like this I hate to compare it because it's not.
Yeah,
but if you've ever had like that glycerin,
Yes.
it feels glycerin-y,
But it's not.
but it's not, and it's very light.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's like, you know how you get beard oil and it's like oil continues to get everywhere. Like, nah.
The oils that we use.
And it also softens the hair.
Softens.
It also, what I love about the
Smells
beard
good.
oil, it smells good, but it's not overpowering.
Right.
Because don't nobody even work like damn, you hold up these.
Right. It make you want to get close. Make you want to get close.
Yes.
So they rolled out we're expanding the men's line.
I say.
But what I love about it is that it was just really smart. They're creating an anti-chafing cream and they market it to men, but women are going to use that too.
Oh yeah. We
A
tape.
bottle at the crib, and when I tell you, as soon as I get out of the shower, my routine is changed up just a little bit. So now this is the first thing that I put on my body.
There you go.
So underneath my belly, my thighs, you know, between the backs of my knees. No more. I'm not chafing. I'm not feeling sweaty. Nothing. So I'm gonna let you try some. It doesn't have a scent. Does not have a scent to
It's
it.
a cream.
It is a cream. It's like a lotion.
It actually says 4 men on the bottle. It's all fancy.
We fancy at Bedroom Candy.
Well, you know, typically if it says for men, they'll buy it. If it,
It's a brand new
I probably got to open the top.
Yeah, go ahead.
'Cause
This
it's
is
not
that-
coming out.
It's thick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's thick.
It's really it's taking a second. I got it.
Yeah, there you go.
So you've been using it. I know you like the moment you got it, she started using it in a hotel when we were in Atlanta.
Got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it coming out?
It's all good.
Yeah.
It came out.
Make sure you
It came out. Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Just try a little bit. Yeah, it's a tester.
and then it
Sweet.
goes on like really smooth and
Here goes.
Okay. Oh, you got it working finally. Yep. All right. That's my bad.
Wanna try some?
Sure. I don't know how to work things. Yo, this is perfect.
yeah.
This anti-chafing cream also doubles as a lotion. So if you got you got crispy in between on your fingers, throw it on there.
And again, it doesn't have a scent to it.
It doesn't. It has that
Yeah, and it helps reduce excessive sweat and moisture, and it's fast absorbing. And it really is fast absorbing. As soon as I put it between my thighs,
it's gone.
it's gone.
It's gone.
Like I am not like the back of my knees sweat a lot, and as soon as I put it on the back of my knees, no sweating.
yeah.
So, and it creates a shear barrier layer, a protection for the sensitive skin and uncomfortable friction, promotes comfortable and freshness all
So when
day.
you think about like now, where the areas do you chafe? Like in the
I mean, it's
for
like
men,
it's
right?
like
that barrier.
that right barrier,
That barrier.
right in between
That barrier.
the gooch area.
Right.
That's where it's
Yeah,
from.
absolutely.
But I was just about to say, like, does it work? Is it just for chafing areas? Does it work as like a deodorant too? Because it sounds like it would.
I mean, I could put it underneath the arms and
Yeah,
Sweat.
a lot of our
It's
like a
Arizona.
lot of our men's product or our wellness products and stuff. They're the ingredients.
multi-perk baby.
Yeah, and then the ingredients are very friendly to the body. They're for sensitive skin.
Okay.
A lot of our products are vegan and all of that stuff. So
Look, I just gotta say it because it's Arizona. I didn't even know I sweat till I came to Arizona. I didn't even know it happened. So that's what's up.
Yeah, we love this. This is going to be part of the everyday all use.
Anti-chafing cream.
yes,
Anti-chafing and the price $14.
Get out of here.
Come on.
I can't
And of
even
course,
buy a
if you-
bottle
if
for
you
less than
order
$40
on our
nowadays.
website directly, anything over $99, you get free shipping. What? So we'll put our website on the show notes. We gonna come back. We gonna show that on the next one
Yes.
because we're gonna. We want you to take
Okay.
Brother Asr to give us his where people can find him.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we go, come out. I hope
Can
you
I-
guys.
Can I promo anything that I'm ordering?
Anything.
Okay.
Go ahead. This
So
is the time.
Asr is my name.
Yes.
I go by. My website again is myganja.guide. That's GANJA. Myganja.guide. That's my website. You can go and sign up for any of our actual courses there. I'm also promoting healinghandsoasis.com. We have healing oils. And since I'm promoting that, we're doing 11/11 Fest this year. So if you haven't heard about it yet, we're doing 11/11 Fest. It's going to be a lot of great things. It's going to be in Glendale. It's hosted by Free the Truth. It's going to be a lot of great stuff. We're going to have meditation, group meditation and Reiki. We're going to have dance therapy. We're going to have massage. We're going to have sound bowl therapy. We're going to have discussions. It's going to be a bunch of great stuff going on. And shout out to Free the Truth. She's doing Dear Black Men again. She's doing Dear Black Men again in October. So come holler at us. But yeah, so we're also going to be doing, Healing Hands Oasis is going to start doing group meditations after 11/11 every Wednesday and Friday. It's going to be group meditation and Reiki. So come out and check that out.
Yes.
More information on our website. That's healinghandsoasis.com.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming on and really
Giving us the knowledge.
absolutely.
I could talk forever.
Yes, yes.
I could talk about weed forever. I could talk about sex forever.
We have to have you back.
All right, let me
Yeah.
know.
We really want you to come back for the expo and
I
bring
see.
more knowledge to the people.
Keep tuning in, man. These sisters are powerful. I've just heard what they was talking about when I came in. I was like, more knowledge for me.
Yes, absolutely. So again, an amazing episode of Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast with our brother Asr. You guys make sure you follow him. We'll have his information on the show notes.
Yes.
And thank you for tuning in. And make sure if you like this episode that you like it, you comment.
Yes.
And you also subscribe. And we will see you soon. We are out. Thank you.
Ashe.
Peace, Ashe.
Thank you for watching Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast. Please continue to tune in and keep watching. And follow us at omgoddesses.com. Join our VIP list. Or Facebook and IG at omgoddesses20 and Twitter at omgoddesses.